In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on November 5th, 2022, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. Baylor versus Oklahoma. This Big 12 matchup has all the promise and intrigue in August and has been relegated to a battle of unranked 5-3 teams looking for answers. Oklahoma plays host to the Baylor Bears. Oklahoma dropped 3 straight to K-State, TCU, and Texas, all of which ranked in the initial CFP poll. Baylor's second year under Dave Aranda has been underwhelming but not worrisome yet. Saturday will be the 33rd meeting between these two schools. Oklahoma leads the series 28-4, but Baylor picked up their first win against the Sooners since 2014, when Baylor upset Oklahoma in 2021. The Bears are 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 road games and 15-6 against the spread in their last 21 games overall. The Sooners are 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 home games and 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. The over is 5-0 in Bears' last 5 games overall. The under is 6-2 in Sooners' last 8 games in November. The Bears are 9-2 against the spread in their last 11 meetings in Oklahoma and 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 meetings. The home team is 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 meetings. The Baylor Bears head north to face the Oklahoma Sooners in an under-the-radar Big 12 battle. Both teams have fallen short of their preseason expectations, but both teams have begun to heat up down the stretch, and they appear to be rounding back into the form we expected of them early on. Baylor is 3-2 in conference play, but it probably controls its own destiny and can still find its way to the conference championship game if it wins out. The Bears have throttled Kansas and Texas Tech in the last 2 weeks. Oklahoma is 2-3 in conference play, and they have won 2 straight since their 49-0 spanking by Texas at the Red River Shootout. I expect this game to be close throughout. These teams have very different strengths, but it should make for an excellent football game. Oklahoma is all offense, ranking in the top 30 of most metrics, but the Sooners' defense is in the bottom 30 of most metrics. Basically, the Sooners can score, but they can't really stop their opponents from scoring. Everyone expects that to change eventually under head coach Brent Venables, but shutting down a really bad Iowa State offense probably wasn't a sign of the Sooners turning a corner. Baylor's defense is a top unit, especially against the run. The passing defense has come along rapidly over the past couple of weeks, even picking off the Red Raiders 5 times last week. The offense is good but not great, and is much better when it can stay within the game plan and pound the ball on the ground behind an imposing offensive line. Freshman running back Richard Reese has been a carries machine the last few weeks, and those have been games Baylor has controlled. I think the Oklahoma defense will again be its undoing. Baylor's defense should be good enough to slow down Oklahoma, but the Sooners' defense may not allow them to pull away. Baylor might win this game outright, but even if the Sooners hold on to win, I expect it to be close. So the Baylor Bears to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. This is a very interesting game between 2 Big 12 teams that have multiple losses already. Baylor has been the better defensive team this year, while Oklahoma went through a 4-game stretch where they allowed at least 41 points per game. I believe that both offenses are going to roll in this one, making me believe that there will be a shootout in this game. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Syracuse versus Pittsburgh. 2 Atlantic Coast Conference teams trending in the wrong direction will square off Saturday afternoon at Acrisure Stadium in Pittsburgh. Syracuse is coming off a defeat at Notre Dame, where a pick-6 by Syracuse quarterback Garrett Schrader took place on the first play from scrimmage. The Orange of Syracuse have impressed many as the season goes on, despite dropping their last 2. Pittsburgh looked good to start against North Carolina, up 17-14 at the half. However, as was the case against Louisville, the Pitt Panthers' defense floundered in the fourth quarter. Over the last 2 games, Pitt has been outscored 38-0 in the fourth quarter. Syracuse is 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 games overall and 10-4 against the spread in their last 14 conference games, while the under is 4-1 in their last 5 games following a double-digit loss at home. Pitt is 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 home games and 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games overall, while the over is 4-0 in their last 4 games following an against the spread loss. The public perception of Syracuse is down right now following back-to-back losses to Clemson and Notre Dame. Now's our time to buy low on the orange with a spread that's a bit too much of an overreaction. Maybe Vegas is right here, but Pittsburgh is a weak favorite and will struggle to even win this game outright, let alone cover the spread. After losing by double digits to both Louisville and North Carolina over the past 2 weeks, Pitt is now 1-3 straight up in the Atlantic Coast Conference and just 2-6 against the spread this season. The only times the Panthers have covered are against a bad Virginia Tech team, who still scored 29 points, and against a Mid-American Conference squad in Western Michigan. Now they have to face a Syracuse team that's desperate to get back into the win column. The big worry for Pitt is an offense that's relying too heavily on running back Israel Abanikanda. He's been having some huge games lately, but the Panthers need quarterback Kedon Slovis to be a difference maker at some point. Slovis has played poorly with a 0-3 touchdown to interception ratio over the past 3 games and little downfield threat to opposing secondaries. Even though Syracuse has lost stud cornerback Garrett Williams for the season, the pass defense is still very good and will force mistakes from Slovis. We have a slightly uncertain quarterback situation for Syracuse after Garrett Schrader didn't play the second half of last week's game. It looks like Schrader will be back this week, though, as his early exit last game was apparently precautionary for a lingering injury rather than performance-related. Either way, the Orange offense will lean on RB Sean Tucker against a middle-of-the-pack Pitt rush defense. Syracuse is 2-0 against the spread as underdogs this season and 6-2 against the spread overall. I get the reasoning for backing Pitt at home here, but I just don't know how much I personally trust Pitt to slow down Syracuse's Sean Tucker. The Panthers have a tendency to give up big plays on the ground, and I just think that Syracuse is in a decent spot to bounce back after a couple of tough games in back-to-back weeks. I believe that the wrong team is favored here, so the Syracuse Orange to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Syracuse has a productive rushing offense. The running game ranks 32nd in the FBS and EPA play, and the passing game should thrive against a Panthers defense that ranks 68th against the pass. The Orange will generate points against a Pittsburgh defense that just allowed 41 points on 474 total yards last week. In addition, the Panthers will continue to run frequently, led by Israel Abanikanda. The junior RB has exposed all opponents this season. He has posted at least 127 yards 6 times this season, and the Orange ranks 63rd against the run. The over is also a convincing 5-1 in the Panthers' last 6 games. I expect plenty of offense in this one. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. UCF versus Memphis. The 25th ranked University of Central Florida Knights travel to Memphis to face the Tigers in an American Athletic Conference matchup. The Knights are 6-2 overall and 3-1 in the conference, while Memphis is 4-4 overall and 2-3 in the conference. The Knights have won 4 out of the last 5 meetings with Memphis, including a 24-7 win last season as a 14.5-point underdog. UCF is 9-19 against the spread in their last 28 conference games and 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 road games. The under is 6-1 in UCF's last 7 games. Memphis is 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 games and 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 home games. The over is 5-1 in Memphis' last 6 home games. The home team is 11-0 against the spread in these 2 teams' last 11 head-to-head meetings. The bye week came at a very good time for the Memphis Tigers, as their last 3 games were quite a roller coaster ride. In Week 6, the Tigers blew a 16-point fourth quarter lead against Houston and lost by 1 point. They followed that up with a 17-point blown lead on the road at East Carolina, losing by 2 points after 4 overtimes. After heartbreak in back-to-back weeks, Memphis then had to travel on the road to Tulane, one of the most difficult places to play in the American Athletic Conference. The Tigers faced a 35-point deficit at halftime against the Green Wave, but managed to fight back in what ended up being a respectable 30 38-28 loss. Hopefully the second half against Tulane provided some positive momentum going into the bye week. Like Memphis, UCF's last few weeks have had their ups and downs. The Knights put up 70 points in Week 7 against Temple before an embarrassing loss on the road at East Carolina in Week 8. Last week, they were able to escape with a home win against Cincinnati thanks to a 7-play, 75-yard touchdown drive that put the Knights up 25-21 with 48 seconds left. The drive was led by backup quarterback Mikey Keene because John Reese Plumlee was knocked out of the game with a concussion just before halftime. UCF's offense could look quite different if Keene starts on Saturday. He is more of a passer than Plumlee, so it is hard to project how the Knights will look on that side of the ball. That being said, going on the road with a backup quarterback is a tough ask. Memphis plays very well at home, especially as an underdog, and the Tigers have a situational advantage catching UCF in somewhat of a sandwich spot with the Knights facing fellow ranked opponent Tulane on the road next week. So the Memphis Tigers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Here's the thing, Memphis does not have a good defense. They give up 31 points per game, which ranks 104th in the nation. They face an offense that averages nearly 36 points per game. Memphis is terrible against the pass, which may force a banged-up Plumlee or Keene to air it out more than usual, and that will lead to a lot of possessions. But Memphis has a good offense, averaging 34 points per game, so their only chance of winning this is to get into a shootout. The over is 8-1 in the Tigers' last 9 games overall, so look for a fast-paced game with a lot of possessions. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.